Go on. Get out there. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's for all of us.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from door to door, down at Gardenia Park. We are Geelong. We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from door to door, down at Gardenia Park. We are Geelong.
Except we weren't Geelong tonight. Unfortunately, welcome to Post-Game Live after the Cats. Unfortunately, what did we lose by in the end? Unfortunately, the Cats lost by 18 points to the St. Kilda Football Club in one of those nights of footy that you'll probably have nightmares about for the next 6 years. Hopefully, that's not going to be too disastrous for the rest of the season for us. Top four still looks a possibility. Top two, you may have just kissed that one goodbye. Maybe, possibly, highly likely. Okay, final scores. St Kilda 16-11, 107 to the Cats 14-5, 89. What the hell just happened? I have no idea, people. I'm speechless for a second week in a row, but for very different reasons. But I imagine as I go along, I'm going to get a little bit more enraged as we start talking. I'm sure there's a few callers. I've already got a few people ready to go, so I'm not going to hold people up too long today. I'm going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself first, Mr. Paul James, and hear what he's got to say about this result. Here he is. Paul.
Look, my wife's car was broken into earlier this week. So there's a bit of me that kind of wishes they just broke into my house, took my TV so I didn't have to see that shit. It's early enough in the recording, right? It's late enough into the recording that I can start dropping bombs already.
Yeah.
Cool. That was fucked.
Yep.
All right. I'll settle down. I've just finished recording the reaction, so stay tuned for that one already, people. That'll come out tomorrow morning. So to address your little point about next week and top two and all those sort of things, I just quickly messed around with the ladder predictor. Now, of course, to get top two, we instantly have to have Port and GWS lose, which are distinct possibilities. Port has to play Freo in the West, and Freo is obviously going to be chasing that final spot in the 8, so that's a possibility. GWS has to go take on the Dogs in Ballarat. So there's a distinct possibility that they could lose both of their games, but we also have to win by like 100 points against the Eagles, which if we're going to bring the attitude that we brought in the second half of tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if we go on to lose to the Eagles, to be honest, despite it being in Geelong. But I mean, look, this was the typical game of two halves, right? We looked pretty hot through that first half, and then in the second half, look, I believe the players actually sent out some doppelgangers or some Auskick kids to play, and that they're actually still in the rooms waiting to come out for the second half because no one actually showed up. And I've seen like a few of the comments have been kind of scrolling through, kind of popping up. Thanks for the "you go girlfriend" Energizer Red. A few people kind of, I guess the sentiment that I'm seeing here, and it was kind of something that I expressed when I recorded my reaction, which people will be able to check out tomorrow morning. It was just intent. There was just no hunger. There was no desire in that second half. And then when we did get it, there was just no smarts to the way we played it. Now, now I've defended and like been a big supporter of this bloke all year, Jack Bowes.
Yes.
Who got 31 disposals tonight. And if you just look at the statistics that the AFL site puts out there, you go, that's a pretty solid effort. But and to be fair, at the coalface, he was good. Like when there was a contested possession required, he got in there and he got it. And I really like. So ultimately, I have to, I guess, kind of give him a tick for the game. But the way he disposed of the ball tonight, specifically going inside 50, set our forwards up for failure. It didn't utilize the Brad Closes and the Brian Myers and those sorts of players who are there to link it up and also can kind of kick a bit better than Jack Bowes. And so he really set up some of our key forwards or just any of our forwards really to struggle. And then again, as I saw a few people talking about, there's some intent questions that you could ask about Ollie Henry and some of the others in there tonight as well. That I guess I kind of agree with the sentiment, but I love Jack Bowes, but he kind of failed our forwards tonight. And if he was thinking a little bit more about the way he disposed the ball inside 50, I'm not going to say it would have changed the result, but he delivered it inside 50 enough that there might have been a few more opportunities on goal in that second half. And he wasn't alone in that regard. It was just they lost the poise that we know that Geelong's got. It was just rushed. It was dump ball wherever we can. There was no consideration given to the way we played the game. No composure in the slightest. And that was beyond infuriating. And again, you've heard me many weeks now about the inability for Geelong to kind of halt the momentum of opposition teams. And I was pretty stoked with how we did that against Freo when they tried to get a bit of a run on and nipped it in the bud. But I don't know where that went tonight.
Who knows?
Rant.
Well, no, rant as long as you need to. Have a follow-up rant tomorrow if you want to tack on a.
It's already recorded. It's
already in the bank, but
already there.
Look, it is what it is. Like that first half was just champagne footy for the Cats, especially the first quarter. I did sit back at the end of the first and think, I can't believe we're only 3 goals in front. Like, kudos to the Catters for not letting the Saints get a goal, but what's going on here? We're only 3 goals in front. Okay. And then second quarter, really good second quarter. The Cats just piled on the goals and 9 goals to 3. I think we were at the end of that one, looking very comfortable. And then it was like, oh, this could be a percentage booster. I thought the West Coast game would be the one we would get the percentage booster. And I may have jinxed it, Cats fans. I apologise if you believe in that stuff about me sitting on my couch watching the game at home and jinxing the fortunes of the Geelong Football Club. But yeah, I may have just had some involvement in seeing Geelong lose tonight, unfortunately. But the Saints just too good. Look, if there's any Saints fans tuning into watching this, whether they're live in the chat now, say hi if you are. But watching this on replay, take my hat off to you. You're just fantastic. The club, that first quarter, you were putrid. There's no getting around that. The second quarter, you showed a little bit of fight. In the second half, gee, you should be top 4 team the way you played there. And it was just an absolute flip of the script in the second half. It did feel Paul.
They're busy popping bottles right now.
Oh, they probably are. They're champagne. They're running up and down. What's the main street in St Kilda? St Kilda Road, probably. I don't know. But they're having a good old time over there. It just felt like it's going to be one of these things where surely Geelong can't lose it. But geez, imagine if they did. Could you imagine if we lost it from here? And then, as it happened, we did. But who did you like, Paul? There's a certain young fellow that stood out for me tonight.
I mean, yeah. Look, we can talk about the number 2 in the rising star behind Ollie Dempsey, if you like. Sure, shit ain't George Wardlaw. No. Yeah. Look, Lawson was electric in the first quarter, but I think even he too kind of went missing for the rest of the game. He was pretty well held through the second half. He must have had more than half his disposal in the first quarter alone. Like, he did go pretty quiet from that point onwards. He was not alone. We couldn't get our hands on the ball, which was half the problem.
Yeah, he had the most disposals for the Cats in the second quarter and as well as the first quarter. So he just 5 touches after that for the rest of the game. But yeah,
it's certainly not his fault, and I'm certainly not trying to point the finger at Lawson. Lawson was really important, did a great job. But yeah, I was 100% with you. I think at the quarter time I was talking about, or was it quarter time, half time? I don't know. I kind of said the 3 votes are split between Jack Henry. Could you believe it? Considering the comments I've made earlier this year, Jack Henry and Lawson Humphreys, and then I don't even. I putting the votes in will be a challenge this week. Yeah. At least we don't have to show our hand to everyone. You're not going to throw me under the bus for I don't know, putting Zach Tui there in the 3 votes like I did that other week. You dog.
Jing Jing, shout out to Jing Jing. So YouTube,
legend.
I love your work. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that. Especially we need that tonight because it's been tough. I'm sitting here thinking at the final side, I'm like, post game live. We're going to front up. I actually am pleased by how many people are in the queue who want to jump on. If you do want to jump on tonight, I think I've posted the link there. Paul, could you maybe just confirm
mate, you're about to have, I'm glad I'm in first. You're about to have a 3.5 hour long show.
Oh, I don't know if the battery will work.
The pitchforks are being sharpened while I sit here chatting to you. So
I may have to cap it at a bit over an hour and a half, or around about an hour and a bit, because my battery's about. I thought it was fully charged, but clearly it's not.
Oh, how convenient!
I know. Look, West Coast next week. We'll bounce back surely. We're not going to drop that one at home, but it looks like we might be playing. Could be playing GWS or Port Adelaide in the first final. Top 4 is going to happen surely, but it's just who we're going to play in that first final interstate game. Lose that, come back, maybe win against Carlton or a Bulldogs or something like that, and then we'll see what happens off to the other side of the country and play the other.
There's a bit of me that genuinely hopes that it was just a complete lack of interest in that second half. We're playing only because they've flicked the switch off. Well, they'll flick the switch on again when they feel like the stakes are there. That's more of a hope than anything else. I still don't like it. I think every footy game you should be playing 100% regardless. But I don't know. There's a bit of me that just hopes that people were trying to preserve themselves or something, just for there to be some sort of excuse for whatever we saw in the second half. But even strategically, we were poor. You could have 10% vision and see exactly what the Saints were trying to do in that second half with the switch of the ball from side to side and then those precision passes. We didn't adjust our game to it. Or if the message was coming down from the coach's box, the players weren't implementing it. So,
yeah, I think Chris Scott looked a bit shocked in the coach's box. What was going on?
Look, every time the camera swung over to him, he looked like that kid that they showed at one point who was crying.
I had that on my naughty list. I had the highlights and the lowlights, and the Cats. We made this little Geelong supporter cry in the fourth quarter. There, it's okay, young fella. There'll be plenty more wins to come, but
more losses where that'll come from.
No more like that.
Is
this? Where does this rank? Where does this rank in terms of
from this season?
Compared to the Gold Coast game earlier in the year, for me that was still probably the highlight. Just the worst version of under 12s football I've ever seen.
For me, I'd say this one's worse than that one. Only because we had no, not even recency bias. I think just the nature of how it all happened. I mean, the Gold Coast game, we were off, they were on. It was there from moment one. We didn't play a very good game. That was that. Here we had the foot on the throat, and then again, going back to it just seemed like there was no hunger, no desire in the second half. It was preservation mode more than anything else. And so that, like I say that I hope that that's the case because it means that maybe there's not some gigantic issue here. But in terms of, just a set, treating the game on its merits, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Shannon in the chat, are you not related to a certain Lawson, are you there? And if you are, why aren't you a Geelong supporter? Who's this?
Yeah,
us?
why are you saying us still? Like jump ship?
Jump ship? What about? I don't know if you are related, but yeah, come to the Cats. If you are a family member, if your family member is playing for Geelong, what are you doing? That's fine. Support who you want. All good. Just thank you for joining in.
Here we go. Brendan's just popped into the comments just saying Bianca's got a prelim at 9 a.m, so she had to go to bed at half time. She chose a good time to go to bed. Do
you know what, Bianca?
The only problem is she's going to wake up thinking that, she's going to wake up thinking we're locked, and yet now it's still up in the air.
You might watch this on replay at the morning and just look above your head there, Bianca. I've even written post game Bianca.
He's done it
as well. I've got post game Bianca there just for you. Dad, if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to. But there's another Bianca coming on shortly, hopefully. So maybe it's for the. I'm going to say it's for your girl party B, who hopefully will hang around for a few more minutes. We'll get her on shortly. That was the song. If you've jumped in from the start, the song that we played we've just debuted that. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You'll be able to. I think that's out next on the 24th, but Bianca might be able to confirm that.
She might give you like a thumbs up on the back side of the call here. Yeah, there we go. There's your thumbs up. There we go.
We will give it another play a bit later on.
23rd, I think I saw the fingers. Yeah, 23rd.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll save that. We'll go back to the normal post-game live logo there. There you go. Any more thoughts, Paul? We'll go to full border callers tonight, so we'll whip through them pretty quick.
Yeah, I'll get out of your hair. I guess everyone just stay tuned for the reaction video tomorrow. I've kind of already expressed a fair few of my thoughts that were in that video here again. I don't know if I was more or less hot under the collar when it came to the reaction. People can let me know at the time. Yeah, just a disappointing second half. Just a complete lack of intent, and that was really bothersome. So I'll let everyone else analyze it in their own way and haul players who over the coals who potentially need to be hauled over the coals. And there are a few that deserve it. Yeah, I'll let everyone have their fun.
Good stuff, Paul. Hang in there. We'll be back. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be right.
We'll be fine. Take care, mate.
Right, enjoy.
I'll cut him off. There you go. That's what I do around here. He can handle it. He's a big boy. All right, if you haven't already, please do us a favor and hit that like button. If you're feeling extra generous, maybe if you're not already, please hit that subscribe button as well. That'll help us out a little bit. But before I get my next guest on, I'll just quickly pull up the scores again for tonight. As I said, 107 to 89, 18-point loss to the Cats. Jezza looks great on the stat sheet there, 3 goals, but was pretty invisible for most of the game, let's be honest. Shawnee Manor, can't really ask much more for a bloke that's played less than 10 games, really. Tyson Stengel, I don't know how to judge him. I'll let others judge Tyson tonight. Jack Bowes, I didn't say anything, Paul, but you were absolutely wrong. I thought Jack Bowes was pretty good tonight, probably in my votes when I do that a bit later on. Lawson Humphries was the man. He was everywhere, especially in the first half, and Max Holmes for the 22 touches there as well. I don't think he'll be in my votes, but Max Holmes. But on the other side, Jack Higgins, just a star. He was too good. Wilson, Higgins with the 3 goals, Wilson with the 2, and Jack Steele with the 2 as well. And Rowan Marshall just went nuts, 28 touches. Cal Wilkie marked everything that came his way, put him in the All-Australian team now, and Steele again with the 27 touches there. So a bit of a look. Now, I'm going to get Kiri in first, and then I'm going to bring in your girl party B. So hang in there, Bianca. I'll get you on very, very soon. But Kiri's first in tonight, so I want to get him on and see what he says, and also ask him about the Adelaide game as well, the Port Adelaide game. That didn't go as well as we wanted, but here he is. Hello. I'm not going to ask you how you're feeling.
I'm just shattered, mate. Absolutely shattered. Let's just cut to the chase. Just a fucking horrendous performance. that second half, we're playing St. Kilda. They've got nothing to play for. Ross Lyon, probably one of the worst tacticians ever. How do we let 7 unanswered goals? How do we let that through? It's just simply not good enough. And I said earlier in the year that
you've just left us on a. You said earlier in the year. I'll bring you back when you've unfrozen there, mate. Looks like you've just your connection's just dropped out a little bit. Maybe it is that it's that night tonight. Unfortunately, that's where it goes. But I might see if Bianca, are you about? Give us a thumbs up. I'll get Bianca on now, and here she is. Hello, are you coming from the game?
I am coming from the game. Yeah, I've got Crown Casino behind me. I'm just waiting for a not so full tram to come. So,
Very nice.
Yeah, intense energy in the stadium.
Can I play your song in the background as I'm talking to you? Is that okay? And I will give it another run.
Of course, whenever, whatever you want to do. Yeah,
I don't know how loud it is. What did you think of that game tonight?
It started off really, really strong. Like, I was really excited and amped, and the cheer squad was super pumping, and like the energy was good. And then halftime, I was kind of like, third quarter, I was like, a little bit worried. And then when my favourite Rowan went off, it was all over. So I don't know. You tell me.
Why did he go? Well, I don't know why he went off. He clearly had the grumpies tonight. I don't know what was going on with him.
Yeah, he like literally kicked the goal and then went straight off, because I saw them warming up Mitch Duncan, and I was like, who's going off? And then I just saw it on the screen. So yeah, I don't know why. But yeah, it sucks. But it was one I think we could afford to lose. So
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll bounce back next week, and you don't want to lose these ones, but then again, we've lost a bunch of other games this year, and we've bounced back, and it's been fine, and we've been lining up at the grand final tickets and all this sort of stuff. We've all got carried away, but the sun will come up tomorrow. It will.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I feel like the whole season's been a bit weird in general. Like, you're like, oh, it moved up the ladder, and then you're like back down again, and yeah, it's just a bit of a journey.
Do you know what? I was really hoping tonight we could debut the song on a win. We'll get people out and about.
That would have been good. That would be good. But when we win next week, you can just play it as a celebration.
We can. Yeah. Tell us about it. Tell us about the song. What's it called again?
So it's called Up the Cutters. So it's just a remix of the team song, obviously. And I just wanted something that was like really uplifting, and like you could imagine the Cats running out to it at DMHBA Stadium. And yeah, I just put it together, and I've been trying to make a remix for ages and ages and ages, and now it's finally out, which is cool. Well, it comes out next Friday, but yeah,
next Friday.
You guys get to listen to it. And I hope you enjoyed the Jeremy Cameron sample at the start from.
Yes.
I just thought that was pretty funny. If everyone remembers that, when he put the medal on the cow, I just thought that was like a really good way to open the track. So it's just a simple remix, but hopefully it gets people pumped.
I have saved the link, the pre-save links in the comments. Oh, sorry, not the comments, the notes section of this video as well. So if people want to check that out, have a bit of get ready for. I think you said it comes out next Friday as well. So,
so it'll be out at midnight next Friday. And for any of you who like to do like little TikTok reels or Instagram reels of footy highlights and stuff, please use the song, because it'll be on all of those all the social media services as well from Friday. If that's something you like to do, no pressure, but it could be cool. It'd be cool to see it with some highlights and stuff.
And we will give it another run the next time the Cats have a win, which I am sure is next week. But failing that, the next time Geelong has a win, we are pretty much guaranteed. I don't think we can miss finals now. I think, if anything,
I think we'll be all right.
I think we'll
have to work hard, but we'll be all right.
We should be fine.
Yeah.
So was it not the most devastating loss for you in the world, or are you just sort of putting on a brave face at the moment? Are you like feeling okay? Like it's not the end. It's just a game of footy, or is it like I'm on post game live. I'm trying to be positive.
It wasn't the most devastating loss, but I went with my cousin who hasn't gone to the footy in years, and I didn't think he even liked footy, and turns out he was a Saints fan. So his banter tonight and the way he's been rubbing in the wind was pretty funny. Kind of like brought me down a peg. But, you know, at the end it sucked. It would have been cool, but I've definitely been more disappointed with other losses than this one, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Say hi to your fellow Cats fans. No, I'm sure there's none around here.
Yeah. There might be a few. I just had a little, when I was walking out, there was, I don't know if you've heard of the group, the Footy Besties. They're like a bunch of girls that do post-game interviews and stuff for each team.
Oh, okay.
And I like ran into them on the way out, and they're like, how are you feeling about it? And I was like, oh, we're still going to finals, so, you know, can you, and then she was like, can't relate, because she went for St. Kilda, so it's kind of like trying to make me feel a bit sad about the loss, but then I just turned it around and was like, yeah, we're going to finals, you're not.
I think that's probably, it's a good point, isn't it? We can't get a bit too, I mean, we're so used to success at this football club that we expect anything less than top 4. It's not good enough, Geelong. Embarrassing, all that talk, and there's a lot of teams like you said, like St Kilda and poor old Essendon and Carlton, who just teams like that. They've struggled for so long, and here we are just whinging about maybe not making top 4.
Yeah.
Perspective, hey.
Yeah.
What can you say? Will you be able to get along to the West Coast game? Do you think, or is that you're going to?
Yeah, I'm going to come down for that one next weekend for sure.
Yeah.
I have a DJ set that night in Melbourne, but it's not that game's an Arvo game, isn't it? So it should be.
It's about
sweet.
I think it's just after lunch. It's about 1:45.
Oh, gorgeous!
Yeah, so
excellent. Yeah, I should definitely be down.
Have your sandwich and then wander down. Tommy Hawkins unfortunately won't be playing, but I don't know what they'll do about Tommy, but it's a shame. Hopefully he'll get another chance to play. And we'll get to farewell him as a football player and not just on the back of a car. That'd be nice. On the back of a ute.
And back of a Ranger. Is that not who they're sponsored by?
No. Definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, well, I just got on a tram, so...
Oh, very nice. Go Cats, everyone.
Oh, look at this. No.
No.
I know.
Way.
How rude.
You're not welcome.
You're not welcome.
Get off.
All right.
I'll let you go then.
That's all right. Thanks for playing the song. And pre-save it if you want to listen to it again, guys. Thanks so much.
I will do. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
We'll give it another run towards the end of the show, but let's see if I can get Kiri back on now. Here he is. You're back.
Hey Ben, can you hear me, mate?
Yes. And how's those internet gremlins? Have you handled them? Have they disappeared?
Yeah, I'm just running on data at the moment, so should be right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Bloody hell. Yeah. Oh no, I was talking about Geelong and top 4. Beginning of the year, I said, you know, Geelong were probably about the 5th, 6th seed on the ladder, and that's where I honestly see us at the moment. You know, we can show that our best footy is good enough, but then it's just absolutely ugly as well. And that second half just was a prime example of that. As I said again, you know, Ross Ball, probably the worst game style ever. And we just allow 7 unanswered goals. It's like, unbelievable, man. And Callum Wilkie, he becomes an A-grade defender. You know, it's an ongoing pattern. We saw this with Rory Lobb in the Western Bulldogs. I think against the Gold Coast as well. I think McAndrew. It's just an ongoing trend, and you know, this is something we need to seriously address before the finals, because we're going to get found out like in the first week. You know, Sydney at the SCG. If we are to make top 4, that's not going to be pretty.
No. Well, it may not be. But every team's had a bad week or two here or there, and who knows who the next team will be. Either the rest of this round. I think everyone it's fine for top 4's already played. Brisbane couldn't get it done. Lost to Collingwood by a point. They should be kicking themselves right now.
We had a chance. We just shot ourselves in the foot, you know. And that's the thing that gets me really angry as well with how unpredictable and the competition has been. We should have taken our chance, and I don't care how ugly this game was going to be. Just take the 4 points, and we just simply didn't do that. But yeah, it was right there, and now I don't know, man. We need discipline. I'm seeing in the comments there. That's what we need.
What do you think? Do you think it was anything to do with playing in Perth and the flight back and maybe just not having the legs under us? And then I think I was thinking about this during the week that coming all the way back from Perth and playing at probably the worst ground to play on in terms of the surface. You're playing on a car park really. Underneath, it would take its toll. I mean, maybe they were flying at the start and then came out of that second half just absolutely stiff as a board. They just didn't
ran out of gas. Mark Blitzarves, especially in the fourth quarter, he just looked so slow. Just few others as well, like Gary Rowan. He had a bit of a shocker, conceded a 50-meter penalty. Wasn't his night tonight. There was just a few people that, Lawson Humphreys was absolutely electric in the first half, but when the heat came on, it got the better of him, sadly. So travelling may have a factor, but all 18 clubs in the competition have to do that as well. And you look at the WA clubs too; they have to travel every second week.
I was going to say, poor us. We have to play one game after travelling to Perth. Oh, poor Geelong. Couldn't get the win. Hey, I want to ask you, did you like Reece Stanley's handball in the second quarter after he got that free kick and then decided to handball it off to a player?
I was screaming at the telly.
Was that the beginning of the end? Is that where it all started? Can we? No, we're going to pin it all on Reece Stanley. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to pin it on you, Reece. We love you.
I forgave him when he kicked that goal, when he put us in front. And look, I thought he was serviceable today. Other than that mistake, I think he's been okay. He's been serviceable in the ruck, and I think he could definitely go on for another year if he keeps that up. He kicked an important goal, but unfortunately we just didn't have that that person to step up like we had Patrick Dangerfield last week. Like we had Paddy. Who else? Where was Stewart? Where was I don't know, man. Just someone in the fourth quarter for crying out loud. And
anyone.
I'm going to say this, and people might not like this, but ever since Joel Selwood left the club, we just left this massive hole, and we can't fill it, man. It's like, Yep.
Well, I know exactly what you mean. It's
I just can't describe
there's a missing ingredient there. It's like we're trying to make pancakes, but we don't have the flour or something. How do you make pancakes? It's one of the easiest things to make, and it doesn't come to me. What did you?
We got the tools. We just don't know how to use it, man.
I want to ask you about this one, controversial one. Tom Stewart, did he touch it on the goal line, or was it off St Kilda bloke's foot?
No,
see that one.
I think it came off of the Saints bloke. I think so. Yeah.
Well, it was paid a goal, so
yeah.
I guess you got to go with that in the moment. It wasn't conclusive. There's probably a lot of one-eyed people on here that will say, absolutely it was. What are you talking about? I'm going to disconnect and not watch this shit anymore. Yeah. I got us up and about, though, at home. Tell you what. We were absolutely screaming that it was touched. But, yeah, probably. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Whatever. There was Ollie Henry did one, too, where he I don't know how he did it. He sort of smothered one, or not smothered it, but got a hand in there somehow. Just like he gets a goal somehow. You don't know how he does it, but he just finds a way. I don't know how he does these things. He's an absolute magician, that man.
Yeah, that's but where was he tonight as well? And I'm an Ollie Henry fan, and as well, I'm like, gee whiz. It's like, got to get those hands, got to mark the ball and stuff like that. And
he started well.
He started well, but just when everyone else was dropping off, he decided to follow that as well. And that's just an ongoing trend with Geelong too. When we seem to be down, it's like, all right, one person's missing an action, and I might as well follow too. It's unbelievable, man. Like, full credit to the Saints.
Yeah.
Nothing to play for. Nothing to play for. But I thought they were fantastic. Good on them. They absolutely deserve the win.
Yeah, they do. You have to give it to them, and it's not just that they didn't just win it by a point in a close fourth quarter. When I thought we were going to get on top, and I thought we were getting on top early in the fourth, and then the Saints just they kicked 5 in a row pretty much. I know we keep the last 2 goals of the game. I know that, but
junk time, and that's Jeremy Cameron in junk time. Like, where was he all game as well? Another thing too. It's just like, you're one of the best players in the competition. Just I love you, Jez, but come on, man.
We love the guy, but sometimes it's like, I don't know if you watch a bit of tennis, but there's some, like, Kyrgios. It drives me nuts. And I particularly like the guy, but when he plays well, he's awesome to watch. And then other times he just doesn't want to be there. He doesn't care. He throws it away. And I just got those. Jezza, give me those vibes today, mate. You're not Kyrgios. I'm sure he'd have you in a tennis match easily enough. But no, you just, I don't know. This year, there's been some times where I thought, oh, come on, what's going on, Jez? Get involved. Mm-hmm. Get in the game. Inject yourself somehow. But I don't want to pick on Jez too much. I think probably the issues were elsewhere in the ground, and Jez was a part of it. But I feel like it was a whole of team thing. So we can definitely pick out some players. That's not a problem at all. But I feel like it was an all of club thing. There was a handful of Geelong players that possibly in the second half maybe held their head up. I don't think anyone did in the third quarter, to be fair. I don't think anyone. I think that was probably one of the worst quarters I've seen. I'm going to be really outrageous. It was one of the worst quarters in the Geelong Football Club's history. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't ideal either. But anyway, we're on to West Coast next week. We'll get that win. We'll show Harley Reid. We'll get Harley Reid in a day or two early, and we'll show him around the club.
100%.
This is the training. This is the weights room. Here's your new teammates in a few years. So everyone will come up and shake your hand, and take him down to the Charles and Co Cafe for a lunch. all that sort of stuff. We'll look after 100%. him. We'll take good care of him. And Jake Waterman, if you want to come on the tour as well. You're more than welcome.
He's more than welcome too. Harley Reid, we got the number 29 for you. Sorry, Cam Guthrie.
Oh, don't retire, Cam, mate. Oh. All right. Well, I'm gonna. On that note, no, not seriously. I am going to move through the calls pretty quick tonight because my battery's a little bit low on the iPad. So, but look, we'll get you back on next week, mate. It will be a win. I promise you. Next week, we're going to be a win. But you've got to have a loss every now and then. It's been a good 7 weeks for the Cats, but unfortunately, it was 6 and 7 we were, and now we've dropped one, and hopefully we'll get win next week.
Let's be ruthless. Let's be ruthless next week. Let's show West Coast that this is our house, and all the Cats fans going, be there, man. Let's show them what we're made of. We are Geelong, all right. Play for the badge. Play for this, all right.
Yep.
Come on.
Enjoy your night, mate.
All right. Take care, Ben.
Go Cats.
Go Catters.
All right. You there, Renegade? Are you there? Yes, he is. Let's get him on.
Yeah, what's up?
Tim Dog. Renegade.
Yes. What's up, baby?
Oh, mate, do I need to say?
I've got nothing good to say, mate. Nothing good to say at all. That was deplorable. Absolutely fucking deplorable. Sorry to swear.
That's all right. Fire up. It's
the season on the line.
You keep going.
Everything to play for, we dish up that.
Yep.
Nah, man. I can't take that. That's. I think we've killed any chance of winning the premiership tonight. That was it.
Yep.
I mean, our best players, Lawson Henry's played what? Lawson Humphreys has played what? 5 fucking games?
Yep. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Max Holmes, maybe a little bit okay. That was disgraceful. I mean, what happened there? Tell me something. Tell me something, Benny boy.
What is it?
Mark Blitzarves. What does he do for us? What's his role on this team?
He's the hype man. I don't know if you've been to a game recently, but they do the little intros and the drum beats and all that. And he's like, comes out on Geelong and he goes, "Let's go!" So no, he's a bit more than that, but he does love throwing in. Let's go, Cats!
I'll do that for free. Fuck all that.
Blitz, I love you. I'm not serious. I know Sim Dog's having a crack, but he's on his own with this one. I think you've probably lost a yard or two this year. But you're more than welcome to say what you want. This is your 10 minutes, Sim. So you tell him. Tell me what
10's a good number because 10 is the possessions he had tonight. He was no impact. He hasn't had impact for a long time, Blitzarves. He's in my gun right now. I think I don't know how to use him. We used to use him as a swing man with a lot of effect, but now these days, that's just gone. The last year and a half.
He's down back at the moment, isn't he? Because was he down back tonight? I don't know. Because Sam DeConning's
down
out.
Back, down forward, midfield, bench. Who knows? Because it's a non-impact wherever he plays. It doesn't matter. Shit, man, losing to St Kilda like that.
You don't like Saints, do you? You don't like them. You've told me this before. I don't think you're a big fan of them.
You know what?
They don't like us. There's a lot of fans that don't like us.
What do you think of Mitch Duncan as a sub tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have gone Mitch Duncan the sub personally.
He's not a kind of guy who's a sub, is he?
No, if he's not fit enough,
you want to go sub. You go a guy like Nevitt, Mullen. They're the kind of subs. Mitch isn't a sub. You got to start him or not play him at all. Where else do I go?
Who else have you got? How many bolts have you got? How many bolts have you got in that gun tonight? Have you got a few?
Shit. Who have I got in the gun? Let's see. Max Holmes. He had 22 touches tonight, but he wasn't. They're very ineffective, I thought.
It wasn't his best game, but that's standard. I mean, he gets a lot of it, but a couple of times tonight he didn't use it super well and wasn't making great decisions and didn't really stand up in the heat either when it really counted. But no one did, to be fair. No one really stood up when we needed them to.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly who did. Humphreys was good. Jack Bowes is very good tonight. He's probably the only shining light of this game, I thought. He got what?
I'm waiting for Paul to pop up and have an argument. Paul actually thought
Bring
it
it.
is.
Paul's on.
It's all right. I'll leave you be. I'm busy playing video games.
Oh, very nice. Now Paul was on earlier saying he thought Bowes was crap. I don't think he was crap. I don't agree with Paul on that one, but
he got it a lot. Whether his effectiveness, I don't know. He had it 31 times tonight. So,
he's
not
the classiest player in the world, is he? But
no, he's not.
He worked hard, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see more from Brad Close tonight. 9 possessions, maybe getting engaged fucked him up a little bit this week. You know.
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations, Brad, and you're lovely for your engagement.
Yeah, congratulations, Brad. No, I don't care about you getting engaged. Just your 9 touches tonight, we just didn't get it done. But
he's spent all that money on a ring. So now what does he do? Oh well.
What about Gary Rowan tonight? What do you think of that?
No, I do love Gary. He's one of my favourite players.
Yeah, I love him too.
But Yeah,
But-
not his best game. Like, is he not right? I don't know. Maybe he just didn't look right mentally tonight. Something was off with him. He just couldn't get involved, and when he did get near it, he's just a couple of. I mean, you can highlight that. He nearly gave away a 50 at one point or a free kick on stage. He could have easily. The umpire could have just looked at it differently and paid a free against him, but it didn't happen. But he just looked like he wasn't right. So hopefully not. Hopefully he isn't injured. Maybe they just said, look, it's not working, Gary. Maybe we'll just get you off and we'll get the saviour, Mitch Duncan, to come on and win the game for us. But
those days of him doing what he did against Collingwood in that final in 2022, I think those days are over for Gary. So I don't think we're going to see that again from him. He's like the come off the bench as a sub and have a little impact for a quarter and a half, or just not play. He's just not that guy anymore, which is a shame because like you, I love him too. When he's firing, he's killer. He's a killer. But we don't see that much anymore with Gary Rowan. So yeah, I don't know how old he is, but I think those days of him dominating, having a huge impact, they're probably done.
We'll see. He might come good in the finals. We might have to clip this one, and then when he takes an absolute hanger in a prelim and goes back and kicks it from 49 metres out and puts the Cats into a grand final, we'll show that little clip of you, just this 5-minute clip of you just bagging Gary Rowan, and we'll put it up.
I'll be the first one. If he wins as a flag, I'll be the first one to pucker up and kiss his ass. But I don't think it's going to happen. Tell you what's not going to happen is Ocean Mullen having an impact on his team either. He's not built for it. I don't see how he gets a game in the seniors above a few other guys who are, like Mitch Hardy, who are pushing on the door. I don't see his value in this team, Ocean Mullen.
Hands up in the chat if you want Mitch Hardy to have a game next week. I'm keen to know what the vibe is. Hands up in the chat if you want Mitch Hardy. Show him some love in the chat if you want him to give a game. I don't know. Do we want Parfitt back? Absolutely not. If you ask me. Too late. Yeah.
If Parfitt can be traded, I'd love to trade him. He's in, he's out. He's not an impact player either. So if we can trade him for something, I'd take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, are you going to try and get along to another game this year? Like maybe is the West Coast? West Coast. I don't know if it was going to be a sellout. I don't know if it will be now.
That's down here, isn't it?
That down in Geelong. Yep. I think there'll be a few. If it was meant to be Tommy's last game, well, not last game, but a chance to farewell Tom at home. That's not going to happen now unless the AFL backflips and lets us have a home final, which they won't. So I don't know where to for Tom. He might be done. He may be done. The end of the Mark Thompson. No, not the Mark Thompson era. I think Mitch Duncan was around. Mark Thompson was here, wasn't he? I think. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, Tom was definitely around Mark Thompson, but Tom was the last one standing from the 2007 side. So
Tom didn't play in that 07 grand final play. He was on the list, but he didn't play that game.
Yeah.
So we have 7 guys left. Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, I'm so flat right now. I'm absolutely flat as a tack. I want to get up and about because I mean, you try and be pretty level-headed with these things, but that hurts, that one tonight. And last time, do you remember the last time we went to a game? We saw St Kilda play in 2022.
Yep.
It's the last time, and we didn't go to another game that year because we went on a 16-game winning streak after that. So let's hope the Cats go on a winning streak after this game, mate.
Maybe we need to go to the West Coast game next week.
I think you might be onto something there. We might need to figure out a way to make this happen. But
we should do that. Yeah.
Fuck me. I can't believe it. Anyway,
I'll
let you go. I've got a couple other calls to come on, but
we'll
get through this and we'll sleep it off, and we won't be watching the replay tomorrow. That's not going to happen. We'll burn that one if we still have VHS tapes. We will obtain a copy, and we will have a burial and a burning, and we'll have a voodoo doll of Jack Steele or Jack Higgins or something like that. We shall stab them furiously with much zealous and joy. I don't know. All right, buddy. Enjoy the night if you can. Sleep tight. Don't worry about it too much. Just it'll be fine.
I'll drink my sorrows away, baby.
Drink responsibly. Go Cats.
No responsibility here. Catch, man.
See you, buddy. All right, that was the sim dog. All right, now Ethan's been waiting very patiently. I'll get him on. Here he is, bright and early over in the US. Sorry you had to watch that game nice and early in the morning, but you can't.
I'm glad most of America wasn't watching, because those who were up at that hour had Showdown on, which looked pretty exciting. Dan Houston did something that's probably going to get him suspended, knocked out Rankin.
Oh.
I'm going to go back and enjoy that, because it looked like kind of like a peak showdown, guys in each other's faces all night. That was a really demoralizing second half.
Yeah.
First off, thanks Collingwood. Really did us a solid today by beating the Lions. We are still in position to finish top 4. But at the start of the day, especially after that, I was thinking, hey, there's a route to the number 2 spot. And now I think that's almost impossible. Would require not only a couple of results to go our way, but also percentage to fall into our favor. And frankly, we just don't look like a team that deserves a top 2 spot after what that was. I thought the second half we got out-coached, out-hustled, outplayed, out-everything. Start with the good. First half, Lawson Humphreys looked incredible. Jack Henry had a really nice first half.
Dude.
Jack Bowes was off to a nice start. I thought Bowes actually, I will disagree with Paul on this one. I thought Bowes played a really solid game. I thought there were some other guys who had far poorer deliveries where, in the first half, we did a good job targeting Howard and Battle. And in the second half, Wilkie was the one who seemed to be on everything. And at some point, someone's just got to realize, hey, let's stop kicking it towards Wilkie because he's marking everything. And maybe let's put one of our forwards on Wilkie so that he can't do that. And I'm really worried because now, week 1 of finals, most likely you're playing against, one of Alir, Sam Taylor, Tom McCartan. And I don't see us have anyone who can, who's going to go in and play that role to wear them down like, teams were doing to Stewart before we moved him into the midfield. So that's a concern. First half, our tackling was actually phenomenal after it was so bad last week. And second half, it went away. And there are a couple that I'm not going to blame Max Holmes too much for not being able to tackle Rowan Marshall. He's a big guy. Marshall definitely got the better of Stanley second half. First half was like the Reece Stanley renaissance from last week continued, and then second half kind of reminded why he spent so much time in the twos. I would have liked to give Blitzovs more of that matchup. Blitzovs was very quiet tonight, and I think we could have done things to create opportunities for him, just like we could have created opportunities for Brad Close, and we didn't. And instead, you've got Close and Stengel and Mana and all these guys who, let's get the ball to the start of the forward 50 instead of trying to bomb it in so deep. And we never adjusted, and we kept doing that all game. And it wasn't until garbage time when we were able to target Howard and who was it? Howard and Battle instead of Wilkie, where we finally got something going. We never countered their, reversal, switching field. I thought at 3/4 time we would have come up with a better counter to that, and we didn't. We just, just like in the first half where we were kind of poking holes in their zone, kind of like, deflating like a plastic bag by, poking it with a pencil or something. They were doing the same thing to us with just little short kicks, and nobody was really ever getting on their horse and doing anything about it. I do want to give credit. Darcy Wilson should totally be second to Dempsey and Rising Star. I thought Darcy Wilson was the best player in the entire game tonight because Wilkie had a massive second half. Wilson was one of their only good players first half. he played really well. Again, Wilkie was great. Give Jack Steele a lot of credit for his second half. Membry as well. Like, the Saints played a good game. But that is not a team that should be getting on top of you like that and turning a game around from you leading by 33 at half to trailing by 30. A 63-point turnaround should not be happening against a team like that. Exactly. I don't know how you expect to go interstate, which we'll be doing round, week 1 of finals now, barring the only way we're not going interstate week 1 of finals would be if we're hosting an elimination final, which would be worst case scenario because that would mean we lose next week. And you're not going to be able to go travel like that and expect to have a decent result at all. I think biggest positive tonight.
We've played good football this year. We just played a lot of bad football as well.
Yeah, like I said a few weeks ago, this team's floor is way lower than any Geelong team in the last 5 years. The ceiling is still pretty high. And this team on an average day, I'll take over just about anybody. But we saw the floor in the second half. I think Marshall really turned it around and we didn't. That's where, again, I would have had blitz-ups on him much more. The biggest positive from tonight was I liked the work Bose did on the outside. And, assuming Tanner Broom's back next week, I think it would be way easier to give Bose more outside time. And even though he's not the fastest guy, I like him in kind of a wing role. I think that was something to build off.
Do you like Blitzarves down back? Or, we kind of have to figure things out without Sam DeConning around, but would you rather they come up with some other solution and keep Blitzarves on a wing or more through the...
I would have had Blitzarves as the main guy for Marshall tonight, just because body type-wise, he was the solution there, and we never really employed that. We didn't make a lot of adjustments from halftime at all. And I would have probably kept Stanley in to begin with, but he might have been the one I subbed out, or Ollie Henry. I'm sure with Rowan, the paperwork had been filed, and it was like the moment he comes off, he's getting subbed out, and it's like, crap, now we look dumb because he had a goal. But Rowan didn't have a particularly good game, and neither did Ollie Henry, obviously. Between the handball that he gave right to Zach Jones, and he was one who kicked it a couple times right to Wilkie. Both of them really made a case. If Tom Hawkins was to get another game, it wouldn't be in Shannon Neal's place. It would be in one of those. And 2 years ago, was doubting Rowan. He proved us all wrong. Was great against Collingwood. Huge part of winning a flag. He was 31 then. He's 33 now. There's a difference.
Yeah. Where I'm sort of stuck with it at the moment is I just don't know what Geelong side will get in the finals. And I don't know if anyone can really predict that crystal ball situation, but I think with every team this year, and you watch pretty much every game, if I'm correct. Every team looks great. Sydney looks like one of the best teams in the last 10 years at times. And then they've had a really bad trot. And
they restored some of my faith in them because they did it without Warner last night and had some depth guys step up. So really don't love the prospect of going to them first week of finals. If we were to play like we did in the second half tonight, we're out in straight sets. You play like that in the second half, you're not beating anybody. You're not beating Richmond's remnants of a VFL side playing like that second half. If we play like we did in the first half, we're all right. We're more than all right. And that first half gave me a lot of reason to, I was already a big believer in what Lawson can be, believe even more. Would have loved to see him get more than, 5 touches second half.
Yeah.
And some of that was probably the Saints getting it away from him, and some of that was us not getting it towards him. But we got to find ways to turn this into full games because we've had some really bad stretches and some really good stretches. But what I do, and the comment from 100 games, 100 days just reminded me, what I think is a little bit reassuring is knowing that most teams don't play the style the Saints do. And so maybe, I'd be worried if teams looked at tonight and said, we can, and try to emulate that. But I don't think most teams will, because the Saints are a pretty unique case. I think Freo is the one team that can ever compare to them. And I mean, look, we beat them last week.
Yeah, it felt like this was the worst case scenario. You're on the high from beating Freo, and then you just think it'll be typical if we drop the game against St Kilda after setting up the season so well. But
I felt pretty good going into halftime. I thought we responded well to that run they had early in the second quarter. I like the way we'd closed the first quarter, where Ollie Dempsey prevented the red time goal against the run of play by getting a finger on it, because that seems to be something that's happened to us a few times this year. I thought Dempsey was pretty decent tonight. Second half was a little tougher, but he was a positive. I will maintain that Bose was our best tonight, and he will get my vote for the polished turd, which is an award that we have on Americans Watching the Footy. Basically, just, if you're not familiar, best player on the losing team each week gets a vote. So, looks like as of now, Luke Davies-Uniacke has the lead, because he gets a lot of chances because his team loses a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, Bose, I didn't think his deliveries were the issue. I thought there were some others that were worse. Yeah, I'm glad that there aren't more teams that do what the Saints do. It's weird that we've now split with them 3 years in a row. We played them twice last year, right?
I think so.
I remember, obviously, the loss last year that, knocked us out for good. But I think we also played them at home. I'm checking really quick. No, I guess that was the only time. So we've actually lost 3 out of 5 to them. And I will say, when we lost to them in 22, myself and Rudy Edsall and a lot of people thought, all right, this is another team that, they're not getting past a prelim. It's going to be same as last year, if not worse. And then we didn't lose again. I don't know if this team probably doesn't have that sort of run in them. I think there's a chance we can still play a prelim. And if things fall into place, things could work out. Because honestly, the way this year is going, it might just be a matter of be good enough and just let other things fall into place. Like, again, Brisbane losing today.
You just have to play
frustrating.
One good game in the first 2 weeks to make a prelim, really. You play a bad game to start with. If you finish top 4, I should say. If you finish top 4, yeah, you can have a bad game, but you absolutely have to have a good game, and you need one of them. But don't be like Melbourne and win a grand final and then lose in straight sets 2 years in a row, and then just bottom out third year. Hopefully we'll put in a good performance in September, and we'll make that prelim. I think that was where my prediction was at the start of the year to make.
I did say at the, there's been a trend every year. Someone who misses finals makes the top 4 the next year.
Yes.
And it was between us and Adelaide turned into an absolute mess because we knew it wouldn't be the Bulldogs because they just going top 4 just isn't in their DNA. Expectations have reset from where they were earlier in the year. And I think a lot of that has to do with just nobody else being dominant. Like, it's there for the taking. It was there for the taking tonight. We could have ensured that we didn't have to get on a plane again the rest of the year, except for, to go to Bali to celebrate after the season ended. And we wasted that chance tonight.
Yep. Yeah. It feels like an absolute waste. But as people have said on the show tonight, you got to give credit to St Kilda. They were terrible in the first quarter. I'm not giving them any credit for that first quarter. They
had a lot of skill errors.
Horrible.
A lot of fumbles. The only one who really showed up for them early was Darcy Wilson, who, if I would vote him best over Wilkie, because he did it over a full game and Wilkie just had a good second half.
True. I think for the most part, they were rubbish, though, in that first quarter. And I just could not believe the turnaround for them. And equally, I couldn't believe what happened to us, how we somehow just completely lost it. Footy's an interesting game. I think that's fair to say. It's a strange one. A little tweak here and there, and a bit of belief and a bit of doubt for the other side that might creep in, and all of a sudden, it's you're playing a completely different game. If you had you could easily say this is 2 games of football, really, within 2 hours. I just still am shocked. I cannot believe. I accept the fact that you don't win every game that you play, and I don't know how many games have we lost this year now, 8 or 9. That's footy, but just the complete and absolute opposite to what it was in that first half. I was so proud of this football club in that first half. This is the Geelong way of playing football. The pressure was there, the skill, the energy, and then none of that was there. There was no pressure. There were fumbles, and there was no energy, and just not having a shot at the players at all. It's one of those things that's just, I think they'll go away and think, what happened there? I don't know if the coaches know what happened. I don't think anyone knows what happened. But I think they'll be pretty hurt and stung by that, and they'll come out breathing fire next week. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
I hope so. Again, there was a chance to put ourselves in a great position, and we wasted that tonight. I do think, if we can take lessons from this game properly, there's a lot to learn, both positive and negative. I wish we would have learned those things sooner. There's still a few things that I didn't understand tactically tonight. Like Duncan as the sub, he just never really got into the game. I think that was a mistake to put him into that spot. I thought we had Mitch Nevitt forward way more than he should have been. I would have liked to see him get more into some of those midfield contests. And O'Sheen's inclusion was still strange. I'm still such a big believer in his future, but I think the instincts need more time to develop, and I don't think this is the type of game to do it in.
It's not, is it? But I don't know. These ones really worry me that you got to get games into these guys, and I understand that. But it just felt like this. You couldn't be playing around with this type of game. I got very nervous when I saw Mullen and Nevitt. And Manner's been good, but just when things start to fall off, I don't think you're going to rely on these guys that have played 10 to 20 games to be the match winners for you. I just felt like we carried too many in tonight. I still feel pretty bad for Jed Buse. I would still like to see him in there more. Yep. He's not at the moment, and who knows? Maybe after tonight's loss, they'll some heads will roll, and some players will maybe have to go away and think about it, or maybe they've lost their spot at the wrong time of the year. You don't want to lose your spot in the side now. I have a feeling Mitch Nevitt might be headed back to the VFL for a little while. And maybe
it's tough with Nevitt because I feel like we didn't put him in a position to succeed.
No way. I do feel bad for him, but I also feel like, well, you've got to take opportunities too, no matter how they come at you. And he didn't. That's okay. I'm not going to hold it against him. I can't hold it against the young guys. It's not the young guys' fault. It's the older guys that just didn't arrest this situation.
And I know it's way too late in the year to ever believe it would actually happen, but I would love if they used this as the opportunity to get Mitch Hardy. And although it's not like we were mostly getting crushed in ground ball contests and stuff where he would really factor in, it was just a lot of like the short kicks and getting scattered. We got scattered a lot in that second half.
I did think I thought Hardy was going to play today. I thought maybe there'd be a late out. I felt like it was just about ready for him to come in, but
yeah,
could be next week. But do you think the Cats are going to take it easy against West Coast? No.
I think the message going into next week is we played a half last week. We have a week off next week. Go give it to them. And look, the Eagles have been playing better. They're not awful.
Oh, no. We're not going to determine how much we win by. So, I think we'll win by 100.
Weight.
Yeah.
but they've started to cull some of that dead weight, and hopefully they'll be exhausted from a big win over the Blues and sending off Andrew Gaff. And then hopefully the Saints do the same to the Blues. Although I guess I'd rather have the Blues make the finals than Hawthorn. I don't know. Some teams I don't like are going to be in finals. Hopefully they'll be out quickly, and hopefully, it's teams that'll be somewhere around 7th or 8th. And we'll hopefully we shock the world at the SCG, and we don't even have to be the ones to take them out in an elimination in a semi.
I get so nervous playing semi-finals. I'm quite happy to play a qualifying final and whatever. No big deal, no stress. You lose it. It's all upside, really. You win the game, you've got a week off and you're in a prelim, but semi-finals, you don't want to be the loser of a qualifying final heading into a semi-final. There's nothing more nervous than that. The eyes of the AFL world are on you, and there's nothing worse. You go into, especially in Australia, you go into a workplace and everyone gives it to you if you go out. Everyone gets stuck into you and gives you a hard time if you support a club that goes out in straight sets in finals. It's a pretty scary and dangerous place. If you're a supporter of a team that like Melbourne, poor Melbourne, but maybe that'll be one of the top 4. It could easily happen this year because you just can't have faith in any side really that are in the top 4 at the moment. I don't have faith.
No,
in
not at all.
I had Brisbane winning the premiership 2 weeks ago. Not anymore.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that game more closely because that was interesting.
Very interesting. I don't know what happened there. It was strange. Very, very strange. I don't know. Anyway. Can I get your 3-2-1s? I haven't asked people for their 3-2-1s tonight, but
just for us or
yeah, just for us. I don't care about the other side.
Bose 3. Maybe still Humphreys 2, even with the only 5 touches second half, because that first half was really good.
Yeah.
Some mix of him and Dempsey probably is the 2-1.
Dempsey, okay.
Maybe consider Stengel. When we actually played for our smaller forwards, it went really well.
A 3-goal game from Jezza. In today's football, 3 goals is like a 5 goals, isn't it? Compared to 20.
But look at a couple of them were in late low leverage. I'm looking at who contributed when the heat was on.
Exactly. That's what counts. Maybe don't even.
And I thought, to his credit, I thought Jack Bowes did a pretty nice job, and I really did like the adjustment of throwing him to the wing.
Yeah, Stengel got a goal in the fourth quarter.
I thought he did a good job just on a per touch impact. And I just wish we could have.
Yeah.
Wish we could have played to him more. I don't think we got to him enough. I don't think we got to Bose to close enough.
There was a lot of Stengel got our last goal in the second quarter, and then I think the first goal in the fourth quarter.
I would like to see, anytime there's a lull or a bad stretch, we just got to find a way to funnel the ball to Brad Close or Tyson because something good's going to come out of that.
Well, hang on. We've got a Saints supporter in the chat here. Let's bring him up. Hang on. Who we got? Harvey. Even though I support the Saints, I give Holmes at least a vote. He killed us in the first half in the middle with his speed. Interesting. Okay. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us. We do like to get some other supporters on this show once in a while. We are big enough to allow that. And I understand.
I thought Max was a little too turnover prone, and maybe I'm also spoiled because his first half of the season was so good. If we get back to pre-buy Holmes, that's a guy who could win the Gary Ayers Award and the Norm Smith Medal.
Yeah.
We need that. I thought he was closer to it than he's been in a couple other games, but I think he's fallen off a little bit. The The Dubs, good call on Kolajashny. I thought he had a couple poor tackle attempts later, but they weren't so much broken tackles as just never getting onto the guy. I thought Kolajashny was actually pretty solid.
Yeah, Kola was good tonight. I didn't think he was bad at all. I think, the way the ball was coming inside 50 so fast, it was very hard for the defenders. So I don't really want to pick on any of them too much. I mean, it looks bad.
Yeah, I would say Jack Henry, all things considered, was still a net positive. Again, halftime, he's in my votes. Second half knocked him out of that, but I didn't think he was a root cause of anything that went wrong. He is not the one in his family who played poorly tonight.
No, you're not. The little brother wasn't great. And probably has been a bit of a letdown for me this year. Sadly, I had high hopes for him this year. That I thought he'd become an All-Australian. I thought he'd kick 50 goals or more. It just hasn't worked this year somehow. I don't know. I hope we haven't seen his peak. I don't think we have. I think he's young enough still to find something.
Oh, certainly. Just at this point in the season, with what's on the line, it's like the most "what have you done for me lately" world possible. And lately, he got dog walked by Cal Wilkie.
Yep, Cal Wilkie was a star. He was an absolute. St Kilda fans, you've got a good one there. Pay him as much as he wants. He's a star. Hopefully we'll see him in a final. It'll be great to see him floating across and taking marks in a big game next year. Not to be this year, sadly. The Saints promised a lot, as they often do in every year. So do the Bombers, and Adelaide promised a lot this year. And you'd imagine there'll be some changes in the top 8 in 2025. Hopefully we're still there, but you'd think that St Kilda could be one of those teams that jumps in. I'm not sure who falls out. Collingwood will be keen to get back in, clearly, and Carlton or Freo, if they miss out this year, or Hawthorn, they'll be very keen to get in as well. So it's a tough competition, isn't it? It's not an easy one, and we're very down in the. Well, I'm very down in the dumps tonight, but I also have to check myself and sometimes just say, look, it's okay. Like if you support a team that's currently sitting in the top 4 and probably will be there in another 10 days' time or something like that, and we'll be playing in a big final on the or probably at Adelaide Oval or the Showgrounds. Goodness me, you don't want to play finals at the Showgrounds, do you?
I would think they would.
Stadium. Go back to.
But last thing, while we're still talking Saints, I didn't think Josh Battle was all that much tonight. Let Hawthorn have him, try to rob him dry to do it. I thought they did a good job. Nazaya Wanganeen-Milera might be their best player top to bottom this season. And he had a nightmare first half, and they just minimized his impact second half. And they made better in-game adjustments. They found their strengths. We didn't. We kept playing right into their hands. So there's some in-game adjustments that need to be better.
We'll sort it out. I'm sure we will. I hope we will. We better. Otherwise,
hope we do it this year.
We can still win the whole thing. Can you imagine? We're sitting here. We can still win the whole thing, and that's
absolutely
the type of season it is. And Paul did a video I think it was a week ago now. Is the winner of this season going to be the best ever because it's so tight, or is it going to be the worst premiership you've ever seen, the worst premier you've ever seen? Because no one wants it pretty much. As soon as someone puts themselves in a position, they throw it all away. I still think Sydney will be there on grand final day. It's just who are they going to play at this point?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Most likely.
And I don't have confidence that they'll win it if they get there either, Sydney. So they've shaken my confidence in them a little bit. I don't know.
I still think they're most likely, but if you had to put out of 100, how confident are you in them? That number would be way lower now than it was 2-3 months ago.
Yep.
So just stay afloat, and hopefully everyone else just kind of trips up, and we're the last one standing.
I hope so. We better be. Oh, okay. All right, I better get Lucas on. He's been waiting long enough.
Yeah.
I've been making him wait all night.
Have a good one.
Thanks for jumping on after a loss. You have a good one. And we'll hopefully see you.
Let's
after
do this
a win.
after a win next week and after some more wins. Let's make this the last loss of the season.
The very last loss, and it's just wins from here until until midway through next year. We'll say that.
All right.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Take care.
Go Cats.
Go Cats. All right, Lucas. Let's see what he's got in the barrel for the Cats tonight. Hello. Don't tell me you got the microphone on. Yeah, come on, lift. That's better.
Yep. Hello, man. Yep.
Hello. What's going on?
Well,
Have you fire up?
just a absolute fucking embarrassment. Like, what the fuck was that in the second half?
That's what that is. Is a dog did a crap and it ate its own crap and then it vomited its own crap. That's what it was. That's just how disgusting that second half was. Wasn't good.
But first of all, I don't want to hear any fucking comments about Perth. St. Kilda incidentally went to Perth 3 weeks ago and they won the next week against Essendon. Hawthorn did it also, so I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Okay.
Just we lost it in the coach's box. How the fuck can you let St. Kilda get those many goals and those many minutes under Ross Lyon? That's unheard of. That never happens with Ross Lyon against the top tier clubs. Never ever. He plays a defensive scrappy game like he did in the first half, tries to shut everything down, and we got away. I looked at quarter time, I thought, gee, this is one of our best quarters all season. Fantastic. Pressure was right up. The small forward pressure was right up. Midfield pressure was right up. Humphries was unbelievable. And I thought, geez, we're up by 30 points. And I looked at GWS's percentage. Wasn't that far off. So we were, I think, 101.7. They were 102.9 or something. And I thought, geez, if we can win by 50 plus,
yep.
You know, that even if GWS win next week, we've got West Coast, huge percentage chance. May not matter if they win. And then we just put in an absolute fucking one of the worst performances for the year. Easily. We gave up. That's what it is. And we did this against Carlton, where we gave up. We did this against Gold Coast, where we gave up. And I've had a fuck enough of it. Top teams do not give up like that, regardless. Because there's too many bottle job wankers at this club that just want to cruise along and say, you know what, it's St. Kilda. We don't have to come out the second half. You know, they're gone. They're going to play that scrappy. And they absolutely motored over us like we weren't even there. And we did nothing to respond. We did nothing in the middle to respond to that. And that is the worst thing about that. We did nothing. No. Where was Tom Stewart in the middle centre clearances? When did we see that when St. Kilda just walking it out there? Where? Where was the bigger body? Where? Nothing. We did nothing. We lost it in the box. This is what I've been talking about during those losses. You want to play like that in finals? So be it. Get rolled by 50 points. Get rolled by 50 points in Sydney. Get rolled by Port Adelaide by 50 points. Fuck, they did it in one half against us in Geelong.
We've had some shocking halves of football this year. I don't know where this one ranks because if you want to, we will go back at the end of the year and look at the season in a whole, and there'll be some as a whole. Sorry, and there will be some trauma that will get brought up again. But yeah, that was probably top 3 worst hour of football this year. But as I said, credit to the Saints, and I'm not just saying that because Saints TV's just jumped into the queue as well. But I'll get him on in a sec. But yeah, they were just bloody good in that in the second half. Unbelievable. They should be playing. Based on that, they should be playing finals. We should be in rebuilding phase, sacking half the team and all that. But that's just not how it is. You win those 7 games at the start of the year, and you somehow find yourself somehow in the top 4 at the moment.
the most frustrating thing is the Bulldogs loss. That's where we could have claimed top 4 spot. This game, we had top 2, potentially top 2 to keep it alive, and we blew it. So that's 2 fucking games in a row where it's on the line, and we've blown it. Okay, we're probably going to make top 4 because we're playing West Coast. Not the point. Not the point at all. 2 games in a row where it's been on the line, taking out the Fremantle game because the pressure was not on us. We weren't expecting to win. People were saying it was an uphill battle, but when it was really on the line, we capitulated against the Bulldogs, and we've capitulated against St Kilda, where it's on the line, where it's right there for the taking. GWS have a tough game next week. Port have a tough game next week. To give up like that and say, you know what, we're just happy with top 4, that's bullshit. That's not us. And I'm not a Chris Scott guy out, and I've never have been. I know there's people on comments on X or Twitter wanting to say, oh, well, Lucas tells us how I feel. I'm not a Chris Scott guy out. But he lost it today in this game. He got out-coached by Ross Lyon. That's unacceptable. That's no shade on Ross Lyon. He's made grand finals. There's no shade whatsoever. But they've been absolutely pathetic, St Kilda. Now, granted, when they actually do play attacking football like we saw against West Coast, like we saw against Essendon, they're actually pretty good. That's not the point. They were awful. That was one of the worst half turnarounds I've ever seen. What the hell happened? What? It's just unreal. If this was a Port, if this was a Sydney, because it has happened with Sydney, we were up first quarter, blowing them away, and they've overturned us. If it was that, that's fine. I can accept that. St Kilda? Really? St Kilda, who are fucking 15th on the ladder, or now 14th. 14th on the ladder. We capitulate. Unacceptable. You want to play like that in finals? Be my guest. Get blown out. Don't even win next week against West Coast. You know why? Just unacceptable.
Oh, you've brought the heat tonight, mate. You've absolutely come off the long run.
I'm just frustrated by it. That's why I'm so fucking pissed about it, because we just keep losing the same way. We had one of our best wins since the grand final against Fremantle last week, and we dished up this crap in the second half. It's got nothing to do with going to Perth. It's got nothing to do with long flights. It's got nothing to do with that, because other teams have won in Perth and won the next week. I just mentioned St Kilda. Hawthorn did it, and we capitulate. It wasn't if we tried and we got overrun, I can accept that. We gave up, though, Ben. We gave up in that fourth. Completely gave up. Right? Why sub off Gary Roran when he just kicked a goal? He's still got his speed at his age. Why would you sub him off after kicking that goal? He's the only one out there that's giving us energy. Ollie Henry. I love Ollie Henry. Love him. I'll go Henry every time he takes a mark. Mate, you've been absolutely horrendous this year. Nowhere near. He kicked 40 goals last year for us. 40. Nowhere near it this season. Being dropped in and out. Injury, I get that, but nowhere near it. Right? So what's going on there with Henry? Stanley, I thought Stanley was serviceable in the first half. That handball, forget about the handball. Second half, he got towed up a bit, kicked that goal, but I thought he was serviceable. I thought, that's fine. I'll leave that alone. But our midfield just capitulated. Couldn't
do anything right.
But Max Holmes, Bose, yeah, they had good first quarters, but like the rest of them, they capitulated. Oh, they had 8 out of 10 first halves. Well, 0 out of 10 in the second. 0. I'm not even gonna. Don't ask me for votes, because none of them get votes on the second half. None of them.
I was just about to flip it. Give me your reverse vote. Oh, give me your reverse vote, then. As in your worst 3 on the ground tonight. Go with that.
Worst 3. As much as this pains for me, number 1 or the worst, Ollie Henry. Just nowhere near it. Sadly, nowhere near it, and that pains me to see, because I'm a huge fan of Ollie Henry. Number 2, Chris Scott. Sorry, but you can't.
He came on the ground at the quarter-time breaks, but yeah.
Yeah, well, but you can't get out if you want to credit St Kilda, you can. That's fine. But they're 15th at the end of the day, or 14th now. They were 15th coming into this game, and they played awful in that first half. Same as they always do, defensive, lock it up, try to sketch a goal here and there, and we just completely overran them, and then we capitulated. So Brad Scott, second worst. Third, Jeremy Cameron. At times, looks $1 million. Looks like you can give him a $10 million contract. At worst, he's the worst player on the field. Again, so frustrating. Absolutely does my head in. I just want him to play consistent for 4 quarters. I don't care if he kicks 6 goals. I don't care if he kicks 5 goals. Just be consistent. Every week he kicks 3 goals. That's fine. I don't care. You can't go in and out of games like that. Ridiculous. So I don't know what you can do to put. I've been saying when he has these quiet games, get him in the middle, get him around the fucking ball. But we don't want to do that. Oh, you might do a knee. Well, so might Tom Stewart. So might Reece Stanley. Injuries happen. But there's so many games this year that we've lost the same fucking way. And I'm sorry for swearing. I apologise on that. But it's so frustrating when we lose the same way over and over again. Port in the first half, GWS in the second half, Gold Coast, Carlton, now fucking St Kilda.
Yeah.
No answer. Nothing. No answer.
Should have beaten Melbourne too. When you think about it.
Yeah, could have been. That I don't like saying with teams with other draws because if you're only got other teams, you don't deserve there. But that's the react. Port and GWS lost percentage today, chunk of it. I thought they were going to probably beat Fremantle by 30, 40 points, if I'm honest. And they just got over the line, just with Jesse Hogan, who's probably the best forward in the game at the moment, just. And I thought, oh, geez, if we can even if we win by 30 against St Kilda, puts a lot of pressure on GWS because they've got a tough game against Bulldogs. Port Adelaide, maybe they'll lose the showdown. Maybe they'll capitulate in Perth. But you can't. We absolutely choke this. It's a choke. It's a bottle job. Maybe they looked at the Port result in the second half. They said, "Oh, Port are down to the Crows." One of those showdowns. Because that's the only excuse I can find. Because that was shocking.
When you're playing cricket, you know what I'm talking about. You'll know what I'm talking about here, and you hit a nice little cover driver. That's going for 4. Just walk it, and then it's a wet track, and it doesn't quite get there, and you've just run a single when you could have maybe run 3 there, but we've just switched off a little bit early. Now I'm gonna wrap you up, but I want one word to describe, maybe 2 if you need it, but 1 or 2 words to describe that performance tonight.
Bottle jobs. Simple as that. Bottle jobs.
Bottle jobs.
Should have won that. Should have won the game. Didn't. No, don't give a fuck about the next week. Don't care about who does who or if you want to win. If you want to play like that, just lose the West Coast. Save us the misery. I don't care.
We'll be back. Don't worry.
It's unacceptable. And I hope Chris Scott addresses that, and he will. He'll address that. But this is happening far too much now. And top sides, come finals, we're going to get embarrassed. Sydney are starting to find their strap. Port look unbeatable at home. Yeah. But anyway, Ben.
Before you go to bed tonight, just go to the third drawer, pull out the straight jacket, and zip yourself up nice and tight. It sounds like you're gonna need it tonight. And hopefully you'll wake up feeling a little bit better. But it's a tough loss. I do appreciate you coming on and sharing all your emotions and your feelings, because how you're feeling is how a lot of Geelong supporters are feeling right now. And it's a tough loss. It's a tough loss. And
again, I apologise with the swearing. I didn't want to do that. I'm sorry, but sometimes it gets the best of us. And on to next week. But anyway, thank you for having me, Ben. No worries, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Good night, mate. He always brings the energy. All right, so we have the privilege of welcoming Jake from Saints TV, and we're going to let him have a bit of fun. We're going to let him enjoy this one.
Hear you. G'day,
Hello.
mate. Hello.
I can hear an echo.
Echo of myself.
I'm not gonna get stuck in. That's not my my go, but I did tip the Saints. I'll say that much. I did tip us. The last two games, we have the Cats and we had the Blues, and I had a feeling the only way that we could win these games is to get speed on the game. Speed was the one thing that I thought we had over the Cats tonight, and we didn't have it in the first half. It was a classic Cats game. You slowed us down. The pressure was great. We had no connection out of the back half. It was very much long bombs. Tom Stewart was doing whatever he wanted, and I felt like you were good, but I felt like we were really bad. Like we were off. Like the amount of marks that we were missing, I was like, is it wet weather footy out there? I couldn't believe it. Just like Mason Wood dropping ones he would usually take. Hunter Clark on the wing dropped one over the boundary, and I was like, this is not our night. And you were kind of getting us on the break. Like I think in the second we had a passage of like 6-7 minutes where we had the pressure, we locked it in. I think we kicked one goal, and then you get 2 or 3 clearances, you kick 3 really quick ones, and the game's blown out to over 20 points. I thought, classic, we have to work so hard for our goals, and then you flick it up the other end, your ball use going inside 50, I was envious. Hitting targets at will, I was like, they've kicked 7 goals, they've gone inside 50 18 times or whatever. It was like the ratio for mark inside 50 was too high for my liking, with Battle and Wilkie not impacting. And I didn't feel like, I didn't obviously foresee what was going to happen. I thought our intensity in the second half picked up, and I whispered to my friend who I was with, Jaden, and I said, this feels like the Sydney game now from a few weeks ago. We were down by about 26, maybe even 30, similar margin. I thought we turned it on in the third. We're the second ranked second half team in the comp behind Brisbane or Sydney. So I know generally we run out games pretty well. But that was absurd. Like 83 points in the second half to Geelong, who have got everything to fight for. And I know some Saints fans are annoyed because we went up on the ladder and it's draft picks and everything, but I'm here I want the club to build a winning culture, and no team does that better than Geelong, to be honest. So I've been very envious of what Geelong and Sydney and these teams have done for so long. So to put them to the sword like that, to really put a team to the sword was a team like Geelong. Like, you don't see that happen often. We don't do that to Geelong often, Normally when we win, it's a close game or it's a point here or there. It was kind of like, even last year we had to win to kind of make finals, and that was pretty neck and neck for a while. And so we got hold in the last quarter. It was the same sort of vibe. We got speed on the game. I couldn't tell you what it stemmed from. We took Danger out of it a little bit, kept him a little. He only had 11 in the second half, and Wilkie just was our backs. We could rebound with pace. That was the key. Getting Wilkie and Battle into the game, and without Max King, that forward line looks very different. And I don't know, too many options in the end, which was good to see. But to the guy that was on before to say that, the first half was very much a Ross Lyon game, no, it wasn't. If any Geelong fan has taken the time to watch St. Kilda in the last 7 weeks, as much as I've watched Geelong, we've averaged more goals than Geelong. Like, that's 4 or 5 of our last 8 games over 100 points. So, last week we kicked, 99, 107 tonight. We kicked over 100 against Essendon. We kicked over 100 against West Coast. We kicked over 100 against Brisbane, in Brisbane. We're not a low-scoring team like people think. We can put goals on quick. And that was my goal in the second half of the season, was if we don't win and don't make finals, I just want to see us up the goals per game. That's important to me because the defense is rock solid. And you can't win grand finals unless you've got a pretty potent front half. So it's good to see us do that without Max King. So I'm pretty stoked about tonight, but yeah.
You were just too good for us tonight.
I watched it. Was it Scott? He said we were like the Harlem Globetrotters in the second half. We were too hot to handle almost. He said that in his presser, and I thought, well, that's nice of him to acknowledge that he couldn't really, he's like, I'm not going to say that, no excuses. He said, this is our first game at Marvel for the year, blah, blah, blah. I know he snuck that in there. I'm like, well, you didn't have to mention it if it's not an excuse, mate, but he mentioned it anyway. And we're starting to get hold of Geelong at Marvel slowly, that's the last 2. Before that, there was a couple of games where I remember King kicked 1 goal 6 or 7, and we probably could have won that too. So we're slowly getting a handle at Marvel against some of the better teams. And
Not Brisbane.
yeah,
Not
I think the Brisbane game a couple of years ago, a couple of weeks against Brisbane.
What happened between that and yeah.
I don't necessarily think we could do anything to stop the way. Like when a team, sometimes like I don't get why fans can't just say a team is too hot. That's just the way it is. Like if we played that way against any team this season in that form, we would have won that game. Like I just wish fans could come out and say, like, I know the previous guys like, oh, what happened to this guy? Why couldn't we do this? Or it's St. Kilda. It's like, it doesn't matter. We were just too good. We were just on. Like things just click. And Brisbane did that for 4 quarters against us 2 weeks ago. But what I love the most is we've rebounded with a big win against Richmond and a big win against Geelong. So I like that. That to me that says a lot more than getting pantsed by Brisbane, who, I mean, Brisbane, when they're in a mood, will pants anyone, to be honest. So I'm just kind of like, I'll take that and cop it. And I'm glad that from that we've kicked pretty much over 200 points in the last 2 weeks and had 2 big wins. So, and now we've got Carlton. I know the whole AFL world is on our backs. They want us to get the job done.
Do it.
I mean, it'll help you guys if we beat them and you win, right? Wouldn't it?
Terry won't be happy. But
Terry won't be happy. I mean, he's already messaged. He's not looking forward to the build up to next week if West Coast get up, especially. So, no, I'm not. Like, I was in the rooms. I spoke to Hunter Clark, and I asked him. I was like, "What happened in that second half?" He's like, "Mate, we just decided to play. We just decided to take the game on. We were so reactive in the first half, which allowed Geelong to set up. And when you give time to a professional team like Geelong, Geelong know their positions. They know what to do. They're so structured. And when there's speed on the game, there's no time to think. There's no time to actually plan that structure. And we broke it. But it was good to actually score off it because, like I've said, there's so many games this year where we've had momentum. We've been dominating field position, but not getting it on the scoreboard, not kicking the goals to really put the pressure on, because that's the ultimate pressure. So we're starting to learn how to kick easy goals instead of working our asses off for 1-5 or something,
I love it.
How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you, like, I just don't, I don't get the disrespect. Like, we're 14th or 15th, but then on the other hand, we talk about this season being one of the most, tight seasons in history. We're only 1 or 2 wins. I mean, we've lost 6 games by under 10 points. People forget that. That's in the first 12 weeks. We lost 6 under 10 points. So the season could look a lot different for us, but I dare say I think this year could actually be more of a learning year than last year when we actually made a final. I'm going to take this year because we've beaten better teams this year. We've lost to games we should win, but to beat Sydney, to beat Geelong, to smash Essendon, and to kick higher scores says a lot more to me than, kind of struggling to the finish line last year. Plus a draft pick or 2 would be nice.
I was going to ask you, how do you think the Suns are going to go next year? They just first part of the year could have been very different.
Yeah.
You are where you are now.
Hmm.
Few other clubs are probably saying how the a couple of things different. But do you see making the finals next year, or is this the year you had to have?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, last year, Saints fans would know Ross labelled last year as the year of exploration. This is the year for me. I'm learning a lot more about the list. I'm learning a lot more about the style of football Ross really wants to play. Last year was just a shock to the system and it was exciting and we defied all the odds. We made a final at the G, 70,000 against the Giants. They were too good. That was fun. It was a fun roller coaster in our 150th anniversary year. But this year, I'm learning so much more about the deficiencies, the real midfield talent that we're lacking. That's where you got on top in the first half. You'd get a clearance and it was a score. Our clearances don't necessarily result in scores. We got 1 and Darcy Wilson bombed it from 50. That was nice. But those are too, few and far between. And obviously everyone talks about the draft this season. This will be our most important draft in a long time. If we can, if Josh Battle leaves, we'll get probably pick 6. We'll get 5 and 6. It's a very deep draft in that first 20. There's a lot of good midfielders. I think that's by far our biggest deficiency. Up forward, I don't think we have problems scoring, and down back, we're top 3 again for defenses. So it's just kind of ironing out the midfield. No Liam Henry tonight, no Windhager, no Filippo. He would have thrived in that second half, Filippo, with the openness of that game. Max King would have thrived. So I don't think we're far off. I think, the list is shaping nicely, and to see Wilson, Owens, Naz, we've got some youth coming through that's pretty exciting. I just don't get I get the disrespect in terms of we've won one flag, but I don't get why people seem embarrassed almost to admit that St Kilda was better than their team on the day. Because we're not far off. We've beaten some good teams this season.
I agree. You were definitely better for longer. We had really bad first quarter. It was perfect. That was perfect. St Kilda football. And if you can do that next year, you'll be fine. You'll be maybe not a top 4 team. You'll be playing at 1 and 2 finally next year. But when you see the Cats after that, we're all people in the chat that are nothing about.
Hey guys, sorry about tonight. Yeah,
I don't think you're sick enough as too hard. But
no,
where do you see the Cats next week?
Only a week ago, I said to a friend of mine, I was just like, they were talking about, because it's so hard to pick who are really the genuine contenders, because the season's so open. 1 week Sydney looks shit, then they look good. Brisbane the same. They've lost the last 2, after being flag favourites 2 weeks ago after spanking us. Port are good, but I never trust them in finals. The one team that I look at and I'm like, if they just get the double chance, Geelong have been there. They've done that. They have the experienced heads. They have the coach. They have the know-how. That's a team you just got to... to me, I said, Geelong were the dark horse for me. They get the double chance. They're always dangerous because they deliver. You've done it. You've been there. You know how to win finals at the G. And you're so well coached. You've got one of the best coaches in the league, and obviously not the best. I think we do. No, obviously not. But but I don't think Geelong are far off. I think pace is still an issue.
Definitely.
I still think Tomahawk could be important. I still think that having Jezza be the one out sort of guy now and not being that second fiddle that can float up, become a midfielder and then float back, I still think that's a bit of an issue. And Tom Stewart, it's almost one of those things, are you robbing Peter to pay Paul by putting him up the ground a little bit more and not being that intercepting gun? He's more around the ball now as a pure mid. He was good in the first half there, but once the game gets away, having him down back's pretty handy. I think... I said 3-4 years ago, Geelong are done, they're cooked, they're old. Like everyone, to be honest. And then you win a flag and you change your game plan because you've got a good coaching staff, you've got players that are super professional, a culture that doesn't lose, and then you go and win a flag super easy and smash the Swannies. So I wouldn't say it's all doom and gloom. I think
are we arrogant?
Hey?
We're sitting here whinging. I know you've come late, but we've been sitting here whinging that we're top 4, and the teams that maybe haven't even played final. They've won a final in years and things like that. How do we come across to?
Look, my best mate's a Geelong fan, and I wouldn't necessarily say he's arrogant, but I'll look at it in a positive light. I think that just is a testament to the club's culture, that the fans are winners. The fans always want to win. That's a testament to exactly what the club stands for. The club will never say we're in rebuild, we're out of finals contention, because you're always topping up. You're always finding ways to still stay at the top of the mountain. And I think if there's a year where the fans are like, oh, whatever, we'll get a good draft pick, you don't want that to seep into the club, because then the entire culture changes. And to me, we're in that sort of zone where I think the club's internally in the 4 walls, we're trying to break that culture and say, no, we're here to win. And winning these games when we've necessarily got nothing to play for versus the teams who are playing who have everything to play for, that's culture building. Games like tonight, we didn't have to play that way. Teams think that we're going to put the Q in the rack because we don't make finals, we just give up. But these are the sort of games that build that winning culture. And I think for Saints fans, there's fans out there that are like, oh, damn, I wish we lost tonight so we can get a certain player in the draft. It's like, that's the wrong mentality. That's not the way to go about it, because then the player's coming into a losing culture anyway. So I want us to be a team that just always wants to win, and I want the fans to always want to win. So that's what the Cats are. That's what your fans are. I think on the outside, yeah, maybe some come across as arrogant. I would say it's only arrogant if they're like, can't believe we lost to a shit team like St. Kilda. Like, that's annoying. That's arrogance. It's like, it's not a given that you're going to beat us. You just rock up and win, It's just,
there's three teams that are good.
The Saints aren't
in that group.
Adelaide
aren't either.
No.
North Melbourne, West Coast.
Like,
anyway, go harder, but
yeah,
everyone else is
flip a coin,
really.
Exactly right. Like the season, the competition's that tight now that in Carlton will not be enjoying the fact that they are going to play us next week. They would want a North or someone, like us, Adelaide. I don't know who else is sort of just outside. Obviously, Collingwood, Hawthorn, and these teams, like all these teams coming from outside the 8 and beating some of these top teams. You don't want to play us because we've got nothing to lose, which is scary because we'll just play, Whereas I think some teams are thinking too much. Oh, we need to win this to make top 4. We need to win this to make top 2. And maybe that could be to their detriment, like being so conscious of other results. Whereas we're trying to hone in on our craft, We're just trying to refine a game plan that stacks up. And I said it 3 or 4 weeks ago, I loved the final 5 games we had, to play a mixture of Essendon, who had everything on the line, to play Brisbane, Geelong, Carlton, even, West Coast and Richmond to a lesser extent, because we're not known to beat these teams comfortably. We always tend to sink to their level, and it's ugly and it's boring, and everyone then suddenly says, oh, it's a Ross line game for you. It's like, it's not really. That's not the way we want to play. And I've been to most of the training sessions in pre-season. The second players stopped and went backwards or slowed the game down, Ross line every time would blow the whistle and go, that's bullshit. Go to the first option quick. Get the hand straight away. He's always saying that. He's not saying, all right, let's go to the boundary and make a contest and slow it down. So that I've seen that. I've seen that internally, what they're trying to do. And the players don't want to play that way. The players want to play exciting, fun football. And that's what they did in the second half. And I mean, when it gets results like that, it reaffirms that's the right way to play. And then you just keep doing it. It's just natural. It just becomes second nature once you get on that roll.
Definitely did it
tonight.
Enjoy the win,
mate.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah.
I'm echoing like what it is. But I'm just about to run out of battery.
That's all right. You guys are gonna flog West Coast next week. Tomahawk's gonna get a beautiful send off. He's gonna kick 15. Actually, that's a question. Are you gonna play him in a send off? Is he fit?
No, he's not ready to go.
I was not ready because I know there's all that talk about Essendon not playing Heppel. We potentially might. I don't know, Seb Ross. There might be potential retirement there. Whether we play him, so it's always interesting. Like, when do you just throw that integrity out the window just to give someone a send-off game, If he was fit, would you want to play Tomahawk, hypothetically?
Maybe.
It's West Coast. No?
No.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
Unless we have to.
Yeah, fair enough. That's right. You'll be right, Cats fans. You'll be right. Let me enjoy this one. You've enjoyed a premiership over us. Let me take this one.
We did enjoy that one.
Don't even get me started.
Okay, buddy. Good night.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
See ya. Don't know where the echo is coming from, everyone, but it looks like it's stopped now, which is interesting. So maybe it was possibly on Jake's speakers or something like that. I'm not sure, but thanks everyone who's stuck it out, suffered with me tonight through this pretty bad loss. Really, it will go down this year as one of the worst ones. I compare it a little bit. Yes, 2 different teams at different ends of the ladder, really. But the way we played against Sydney a couple of months ago, we got off to that hot start. Looked absolutely amazing as a football club in that first quarter, and then complete opposite. it just felt a bit like that as well. So, and as Jake and I were just saying then, there's not really a hell of a lot between the 1st and 15th on the ladder. Sometimes, Jake said he was going to come on tonight, win or lose, and I appreciate him backing that up. And I was, he came on last time, I believe, after a loss. So good on him for that. It's not, and he's probably one of the few YouTubers out there that will front up from another team and come on our show and win or lose. Pommy from the Blue Abroad show has been on as well, and I think maybe one or two others. So we appreciate them coming on. Yes, I saw you giving him some stick in the chat, but he's given up a bit of his time to come on, and I do appreciate that. So look, I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, everyone. Sorry I couldn't bring a bit more positive energy. I hope you understand I'm pretty flat. I do, as a Geelong supporter, I do feel it pretty deeply when we lose. I do understand it's just a game of football, and I'm going to wake up on Sunday morning and I'll still be alive and I'll have my health and my family and all that. So, life does go on, and the Cats will bounce back, most likely. West Coast fans, if you're watching, please don't take that as a mark of respect. But yeah, I think the rest of the competition will probably be saying the same thing. So I don't think it's just a Geelong thing. So hopefully the Saints do have a good year next year. I genuinely mean that. I think, say what you might not. There's certain teams that we all don't get along with. I don't particularly have any ill feelings towards the Saints at all. I do hope that they get some success at some stage. I hope Fremantle does at some point. GWS, stuff them. They're just a fake football team. But GWS fans, if you're watching, or sorry, the GWS fan, if you are watching, apologies. But anyway, I'll say goodnight, everyone. I do appreciate you again. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I am going to play the song again. Yes, we had a loss, and yes, it feels a bit wrong to play a Geelong song when you have a loss, but we're going to do it anyway on the way out. So have a great Sunday, everyone. Don't be too down in the dumps about it. If you have to have some bacon and eggs in the morning to make yourself feel better, then do what you need to do. But don't forget, it's just a game of footy. And don't worry, we'll be there in the finals again, and we're going to have a good time. And we'll probably be there when the whips are cracking in the prelims, and we'll see what happens in a prelim. Maybe I've just jumped the gun a little bit there, but that's how it is. Anyway, good night, Cats fans. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Go on. Get out there. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's for all of us.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away.